Presently, they heard a solemn voice that seemed to come from somewhere near the top of the great dome, and it said, I am Oz, the great and terrible. Why do you seek me? So, what happened presently? Presently means at the moment they heard a solemn voice. Solemn. What was the meaning of solemn? That also we have learned in a previous chapter. Okay. So, the meaning of the word solemn is serious. So they heard a serious voice, someone talking very seriously, and that seemed to come from somewhere near the top of the great dome. And it said, okay, so where was the noise coming from? At the top of the great dome. Okay, at the top of the great dome. That means somewhere near the throne. Okay, they were hearing the sound from somewhere near the throne. And what was it saying? I am Oz, the great and terrible. So he is introducing, the Wizard of Oz is introducing himself. So what did they say? I am Oz, the great and terrible. And why do you seek me? Okay, why are you looking for me? Why are you searching for me? So this was the question asked by the Wizard of Oz, or the noise coming from near the throne. They looked again in every part of the room, and then seeing no one, Dorothy asked, where are you? So they are only hearing a voice from somewhere, and it was a serious voice, and they couldn't see anyone. So they all look, the four friends were looking around the room to see someone. Okay, there must be someone to talk, right? There is a voice, so they casually thought that there will be someone talking, and they had to find him, and they were not seeing anyone. So they looked around the room, and they saw no one inside the room again. So after the confusion, Dorothy asked, what did she ask? Where are you? Okay, we cannot see you, so tell us where you are. Where are you? I am everywhere, answered the voice, but to the eyes of people, I am invisible. I will now seat myself upon the throne that you may converse with me. So the voice is replying. So Dorothy asked, where are you? So the voice is replying to her, I am everywhere. So the voice is replying to them by telling them that the Oz is everywhere. He is not certainly in a particular place. He is everywhere. And he could not be seen by the people. For the eyes of the people, I am invisible. Invisible means that cannot be seen. Invisible means that cannot be seen. So he is telling them that he is everywhere, but he cannot be seen by the eyes of people. I will now seat myself upon my throne that you may converse with me. So, what am I going to do? I will now sit upon my throne. So, you will be sure where I will be, and in that moment, you can converse with me. Converse means to talk. If you want to have a conversation with me, you can have it when I sit on my throne. Indeed, the voice seemed just then to come straight from the throne itself. So, what did they understand? The voice looked like it was coming straight from the throne itself. The voice was coming from the direction where the throne was situated. So, they walked towards it and stood in a row while Dorothy said, we have come to claim our promise oaths. So, what did they do? They understood that the oath is sitting on the throne now. So they moved towards the throne, and they stood straight in a line. Okay, they stood straight in a row. Row means a number of people or things in a line is called a row. So they are all standing in a line, and at that time Dorothy started speaking. So what did she say? We have come to claim our promise oaths. So the promise made by the oaths. What did he promise? He promised them that he will give them whatever they want if they kill the wicked witch of the oaths. So they have come here to claim it. Okay, claim means to get back whatever is theirs. Okay, if we are supposed to have something, then we have the right to claim it. So likewise, Dorothy came back to the Emerald City so that she can claim her promise. She was given a promise and she is coming back to claim her promise. What promise? Asked the O's. So the O's have completely forgotten about the promise that he have given them. So he is asking, what promise have I given? So Dorothy is now speaking up. You promised to send me back to Kansas when the wicked witch was destroyed. So what was the promise given to Dorothy? Dorothy was promised that if she kills the wicked witch of the west, she will be sent back to Kansas. Kansas is the place where she was leaving. So she wants to go there, and if she wants to return there, she might need the help of the Wizard of the Oz. So in return, the Wizard of Oz have told her to kill the wicked witch of the west. So she has completed that mission and she is trying to claim her reward. So when she said this, the scarecrow also continued. What did he say? And you promised to give me brains. So the scarecrow is telling that you promised to give me my brain, and the Tin Woodman is asking for his heart, and you promised to give me a heart. And now the cowardly lion, the lion who did not have any courage, is asking for his courage. So these were the promises made by the O's to these friends. So they are trying to claim their reward. So they are trying to make the promise come true. So Dorothy is asking for going back to Kansas. The scarecrow is asking for a brain. The Tin Woodman asking for a heart, and the coward lion is asking for having courage. So these were the promises. Is the wicked witch really destroyed? Asked the voice. Dorothy thought that it trembled a little. So the voice is asking again, is the wicked witch really destroyed? So he is asking again, did you really kill the wicked witch of the west? And at that moment, when the voice was speaking, Dorothy felt that the voice was trembling. Trembling means shaking. It happens when we are either cold or we are afraid. So the voice was sounding afraid and it was trembling or shaking. Yes, she answered. I melted her with a bucket of water. So what did she kill her? How did Dorothy kill the wicked witch of the west? By pouring a bucket of water over the head of the wicked witch of the west. And what happened? The wicked witch of the west was melted. Melted means changed into liquid. So how did Dorothy kill the wicked witch of the west? By pouring a bucket of water over her and it was melted. Okay, the wicked witch of the west was melted with a bucket of water. So this is how Dorothy killed the wicked witch of the west. Dear me, said the voice, come to me tomorrow, for I must have time to think it over. So he is exclaiming again. So first, the guardian was exclaiming, saying, good gracious. Likewise, here, who is exclaiming, dear me? Who is telling that? The Wizard of the Oz. The Wizard of the Oz is also surprised to know that the wicked witch of the west was killed. And what is he saying? Come to me tomorrow. Okay, today I cannot do it. So you have to come back to me tomorrow. So I have to think it over. I have to think about helping you. So then only I can return you the favor. So what should you do? You have to go back now and you have to return back to me tomorrow. You have had plenty of time already, said the Tin Woodman angrily. Now the Woodman is becoming angry. The Woodman was the second friend of Dorothy. He became angry and now he is telling that it is already a lot of time. We have already given you a lot of time or a plenty of time. So you have to give it back to us now itself. We are not going to wait until tomorrow. You have to keep your promise now itself. The lion thought it might be just as well to frighten the wizard, so he gave a large, loud roar. So the Tin Woodman is trying to get mad, or he is trying to be angry at the Wizard of Oz. So the lion was also there, and what did he think? He thought that if he also frightened the Wizard of Oz, it will be in their favor, it will be helpful. So what did he do? He gave a large and loud roar. He made a large and louder roar. This roar was so fierce and dreadful that Toto jumped away from him in alarm and tipped over the screen that stood in a corner. So, what happened? The roar of the lion was very loud and very frightening. Okay, it was so fierce. What is the meaning of fierce? Fierce means angry and aggressive in a frightening manner. Okay, so if we are very angry, then we are being very fierce or furious, right? So the roar made by the lion was very fierce, and it was also dreadful. Dreadful means very bad or unpleasant to hear. Okay, so the roar of the lion was fierce and dreadful. And what happened because of that? It was very fierce and dreadful that Toto jumped away from him in alarm and tipped over. So who was Toto? Toto was the small dog or puppy of Dorothy. Dorothy's pet's name was Toto. So Toto was suddenly frightened because of the roar made by the lion, and it jumped away from him in alarm. Okay, so Toto was alerted and he was afraid and he jumped away. And what happened when he jumped away? He tripped over the screen. Tipped over means fell. Okay, so the dog or Toto fell over the screen that stood in a corner. So there was a screen sitting in a corner, and what happened? He fell over the screen. As it fell with a crash, they looked that way, and the next moment, all of them were filled with wonder. Okay, so whenever we are hearing a crashing noise, a noise of glass breaking, okay, so that kind of a noise was there, and everyone suddenly looked into that direction. Okay, so whenever we are hearing a loud noise, we will suddenly look into that direction, right? Likewise, Dorothy and her friends looked into that direction, and at the same moment they saw them, the next moment all of them were filled with wonder. They were all surprised as soon as they looked into that direction. So there might be something standing in that corner. What was it? Let us find out. For they saw, standing in just the spot the screen had hidden, a little old man with a bald head and a wrinkled face, who seemed to be as much surprised as they were. So what did they see? They saw standing in that spot. Okay, so at this place where the screen was standing, there was a little old man. Okay, there was an old man, and he was very little. He did not have much height. He was not large, he was little. Okay, he was hiding there, and with a bald, he had a bald. Bald means having no hair on the head. Okay, so if you are seeing someone without any hair on their head, it means that they are bald. So this little old man was bald, and he had a wrinkled face. Wrinkled means having lines or fold over the skin. Okay, so if you are looking at the skin of old people, they are wrinkled, light. They will be having a lots of folds. Okay, so these folds are known as wrinkles. So this little old man had a bald head, and he had a wrinkled face. And what is his speciality? He seemed to be as much surprised as they were. Okay, so they were all surprised to see him, and he was also very surprised at that moment. So because he realized that they could see him now very clearly, he understood that they could see him very well, and he was also surprised. The Tin Woodman, raising his axe, rushed towards the little man and cried out, Who are you? Okay, so what did happen after that? The Tin Woodman was very surprised and he had an axe in his hand and he ran towards the little man and he screamed, cried out means he started screaming, "Who are you?" Okay, they were surprised to see a new man and the Tin Woodman is screaming at him, asking, "Who are you?" "Are you not the great wizard?" cried Dorothy. So Dorothy suddenly understood that he is the great wizard. So she is asking, "Are you not the great wizard? We thought you are the great wizard." "Hush, my dear," he said. "Don't speak so loud, or you will be overheard and I will be ruined. I am supposed to be the great wizard." So as soon as the Tin Woodman and Dorothy started screaming, when we are screaming, there will be a lot of noise, right? Likewise, they were screaming. And what did the Wizard of Oz do? "Hush, my dear." He is trying to silence them. Okay. So when we are telling them someone to hush down, it means that we are telling them to reduce their voice. So the Wizard of Oz is asking them to lower their voice. "Don't speak so loud or you will be overheard." Okay. So if you are talking very loudly, you will be overheard. Overhear means hear something by accident. If you are hearing someone talking by accident, you didn't intentionally do it, then it is meant by, it is said that you are overhearing them. Okay, so he is the warning Dorothy by telling that if you are making a lot of noise, you will be overheard, and what will happen to me? I will be ruined. Ruined mean destroyed. So if you are making a lot of noise, you will be overheard, and it means that I will be completely destroyed. I am supposed to be the great wizard. Okay, so he is telling that I am supposed to be the great wizard. That means he is not actually the great wizard. I am supposed to be means I am pretending to be. Okay, I am not really the great wizard, but I am pretending to be, or I am trying to be the great wizard of the Oz. "Aren't you?" she asked. So until then, they thought that he was the great wizard of the Oz. So when he is now contradicting that, so when he is now telling that he is not the great wizard of Oz, she is asking in surprise, "Aren't you?" Okay, so we thought that you were the wizard of Oz. Now you are saying the other way. Okay, so she is asking in confusion, "Aren't you really the wizard of Oz?" "Not a bit of it, my dear. I am just a common man." So, what was his reply? He is telling that not a bit of it. I mean, which means I am not at all the great wizard. I am just a common man. Okay, I am just a common or general human being. "You are more than that," said the scarecrow in a grieved tone. "You are a humbug." Okay, so what suddenly the scarecrow is becoming angry. So he is telling that you are more than that. Okay, you are not just a common being, common man, you are more than a common being. What are you? He grieved. Okay, he said in a grieved tone. Grieved means sad because of something unpleasant. So he is thinking that it is unpleasant and he is sad. Okay, so likewise, the scarecrow is telling that you are a humbug. Okay, so what is a humbug? Humbug is a person who intends to trick people. Okay, so if you are trying to trick another person, then you are a humbug. So it is like an insult, right? So no one would like to be called a humbug because no one like to be called a person who is tricking other people, right? So he is telling that the Oz that you are not a common man, but you are a humbug who is trying to trick other people by telling them that you are the Wizard of Oz. "But this is terrible," said the Tin Woodman. "How shall I ever get my heart?" So the Tin Woodman is suddenly realizing that the Wizard of Oz is actually not him, but a simple common man. Now he is realizing that he cannot give him his heart. So the lion is telling, "Or I my courage." And the scarecrow is wailing, telling that, "Or I my brains." So now they are asking to the Wizard of Oz, how am I going to get my heart or my courage or my brains if you are not the great Wizard of Oz? Okay, you are actually a simple common man, and how are we going to get all of these things without you? Okay, they are confused and they are sad because they are not going to get what they came for. My dear friends, said the Oz, I pray you not to speak of these little things. Think of me and the terrible trouble I am in at being found out. Doesn't anyone else know you are the humbug? Asked Dorothy. Okay, so now the Oz is speaking back to them. So he is addressing them. He is calling them my dear friends. And what is he asking? I pray you not to speak of these little things. I pray you means I request you. Okay, I am requesting you not to say this thing to anyone else. Okay, so you have to think about me. You have to think about me and the terrible trouble I am in at being found out. Okay, if anyone finds out that I am not actually the great Wizard of Oz, I will be in great trouble. So I am requesting you to not tell this small secret. So not a small secret, it is a great secret, and you should not be telling it to anyone else. Doesn't anyone know you are a humbug? Asked Dorothy. Okay, so Dorothy is now suddenly asking, doesn't anyone else know that you are a humbug or you are tricking them? Okay, hasn't anyone find out that you are tricking them? Dorothy is asking this question. No one knows it but you four and myself, replied the Oz. I have fooled everyone so long that I thought I will never be found out. Sit down, please, and I will tell you my story. So, what is the Oz replying her? All Oz is telling her that no one knows about it. Okay, no one knows about it but you four and myself. Okay, so the secret that the great Wizard of Oz is just a humbug or just a common man. Okay, that is the great secret here, and that secret is only known by the four people. Who are they? Dorothy, the Scarecrow, the Tin Woodman, the Lion, and Oz itself. Okay, so these are the five people, the four people, and myself. Myself is Oz itself. So these are the five people who knows about this secret. No one else knows. I have fooled everyone so long that I thought I will never be found out. So he is thinking that the Oz have fooled everyone for so long. He have been tricking everyone, telling that he is the great Wizard of Oz, and it have been going on for a long time. So he have fooled everyone. That means he have tricked everyone to believe that he is really the great Wizard of Oz. So he have done this for a long time, and he believed that he will never be found out. Okay, so if we are saying some kind of lie and no one is finding out that it is a lie for a long time, then you will certainly believe that it will never be found out by anyone, right? Likewise, the O's also believe that he is never going to be found out. Sit down, please, and I will tell you my story. Now, Oz is telling them to sit down. Please be seated, and I will tell you what happened to me. I will tell you my story, or I will tell you what happened to me. Understood? So, this is the first part of the Wizard of Oz, which we are going to learn. The chapter is over. Read the chapter at least 4 or 5 times so that you can understand the pronunciation and how to read the chapter. Don't forget to read the chapter and understand the content. Now, let us move into the grammar portion. The grammar portion is in page number 100 in your textbook. Page number 100 in your textbook. Open page number 100. Okay, so the grammar portions which we are going to learn today is adverbs. Adverbs. How to pronounce it? Adverbs. So adverb is a part of speech. There are 8 parts of speech in English, and adverb is one of them. So Now, look at these two sentences. The girl danced gracefully. The fire burned high. So let us look into the structure of that sentence. First one, the girl danced gracefully. The first word, the, is a is an article. Girl is the noun. The girl is the noun in that sentence. And what is the verb? Danced. Danced is the verb in that sentence. Now, finally, gracefully is the adverb in that sentence. Understood? Gracefully is the adverb in that sentence. So, if you look at the sentence, you can understand that the word gracefully is modifying the verb danced. Danced is the verb here, and the verb, sorry, the adverb gracefully is telling us how the girl danced. Okay, so there is the question. Okay, the girl danced. That is a complete sentence, and if you are curious to know, the question there is, how did the girl dance? And the answer is, the girl danced gracefully. So the word gracefully is modifying or giving content to the verb danced. And the next sentence, the fire burned high. The fire is the noun in that sentence. Burned is the verb in that sentence. And high is the adverb which is modifying the verb burned. Okay, so what is the question there? How did the fire burn? Okay, how did the fire burn? And the answer is, the fire burned high. Understood? In the first sentence, the word gracefully tells us more about the action danced. So, the action in that sentence was danced, and the word gracefully is telling us more about how the verb is performed. The verb is danced, or the action is danced, and the word gracefully is telling us how the girl danced, how the action took place. And in the second sentence, the word high tells us more about the action burned. Okay, so in the second sentence, the adverb is high, and it is justifying the action burned. So it is answering the question, how the fire burned. Okay, so two kinds of action is justified in these two sentences. Both words add on to the verb, or in other words, tells us more about the verb. Such words are called adverbs. So what is the function of adverb? Both of these words are adverbs. Which are they? Gracefully and high. So what are these both words doing? They are adding on to the verb. Okay, they are adding on something to the verb, or in other words, they are telling us more about the verb. They are describing the verb. Okay, the verb was described using the adverbs. So that kinds of words which are used to describe the verbs, or adding or tell us more about the verb, is known as adverb. Understood? Now, the definition is, an adverb is a word that describes an action. So, what is an adverb? The adverb or an adverb is a word which is used to describe an action. If a word is describing an action or a verb, then it is known as a adverb. An adverb is a word that describes an action. So, adverbs tell us about three things. What are they? The manner, the place, or time of action. So, we are discussing about describing the action. So, how all are they described? How is the action described? Okay. So, the three things that describes it are the manner. Okay, the manner in which something happened, or the place in which something happened, or the time in which something happened. They are all justifying the action, and these three things are considered there. So, if you didn't understand, let us look into the example. The three types of adverbs are adverbs of manner, adverbs of place, and adverbs of time. These are the three types of adverbs. So, examples. Rani sings melodiously. Okay, the first one, adverbs of manner. Manner means how Rani is singing. Okay, it is her manner of singing. How is she singing? Melodiously. So it is an adverb of manner. Okay, so it is an adverb of manner. Now look at the second one. Adverbs of place. He looked everywhere for my dog. So he looked for my dog. That is the sentence. And everywhere is describing the place. Okay, wherever they have looked. Okay, so if so here everywhere is the adverb of place in that sentence. He looked everywhere for my dog means the place in which the action is happening is described there. And the third one is adverbs of time. It describes a time frame with time frame in which an action have occurred. For example, please come soon or I will leave. So the word soon is describing a time frame in which they have to leave, right? So that is an adverb of time. So these are the three types of adverbs. Which are they? Adverbs of manner, adverbs of place, and adverbs of time. Now, try to do the exercises or the textbook exercises in page number 100 and 101. Hope you all understood the chapter. Thank you.